Quantum Conversations, your portal to the inner realms. Access infinite possibilities, infinite mastery, and infinite love. Mind-expanding, heart-opening conversations with some of the greatest spiritual teachers, luminaries, and healers of today's world. Usher in new earth by living in your sacred heart. Quantum Conversations is brought to you by AcousticHealth.com, home of music from the universe, online healing retreats, and this program. Claim your free registration to daily shows at AcousticHealth.com. AcousticHealth.com, your portal to the inner realms. Our program starts shortly. Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by AcousticHealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. And today we are going to be talking about navigating this quantum field and how we can really play in this quantum field, but at a level of mastery. Indeed, this is what mastery means, and it's quite liberating, and it's very telling as we tune into our bodies and all of our experiences with supreme, exquisite, and immaculate awareness. My guest today is Althea Provost, and she is so tuned into her body and the energetic body, what she calls her skin suit, and she's dialed into the quantum field and the guidance that becomes available to us when we get in that state. So Althea is here to answer your questions as well and really walk with each of us shoulder to shoulder as we really play in this quantum realm. Althea, welcome back to Quantum Conversations.
Thanks, Loren, for inviting me. Hello, everyone. Hi, Star Seeds.
Star Seeds. Althea works with Star Seeds, the awakening ones with a mission and a purpose. And Althea, you are very empowering in the sense that you're walking this in your own life. You are working as a master with full faith-based expression. This means you know what you know what you know, and you trust, and you also act on this guidance that you get. And we're going to talk about that because this guidance is our higher selves and the unified field, the quantum field, but you're also connected into the extraterrestrial world as well, and that can be intriguing. So we'll get there in a moment. Let's talk about the energies that are upon us so far in this moment and how it really is, there are beautiful situations that allow us to really look deeply within ourselves, and it takes us into a level of mastery, and this involves our emotional body.
So I'm thank you for that intro, by the way. I am just a spirit like everybody else on a journey to evolve. And the difference that might appear to create a separation from, say, master to a student is one of awareness. But the truth of it is that I am open and receptive to the awareness my spirit has to offer me, and I'm open and receptive, almost infinitely receptive to the awareness that others bring into my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's telling me where they're at in their own evolution, their own conscious evolution. And at the same time, it's giving me the opportunity to respond in a way where I'm not adding one more drop of negativity to their life.
Mm-hmm.
So it isn't mastery to make me exclusionary and I get to go on with a joyful life with no problems ever. That isn't the case. The case is that I get to experience all of life and what it wants to bring to me, but that my responses are from more often a state of love than fear.
That's the name of the game. That is what we must all stay supremely focused on point, and watch ourselves in every moment. And that's what I mean when you meet us shoulder to shoulder, Althea. Now, for those of you who are not aware of Althea, she is highly clairvoyant. I know the first time that she and I met, Althea, you totally nailed something, and that was just so incredible. And so this is what you do as you work with your clients as well, is this ability to speak to their spirit. Your higher selves are always in that connection. And this, we were talking earlier, this is all about new liberation. We can call it New Earth, but this is liberation in the sense of sovereignty. We are coming and working from a very empowered place.
Right, and we're on Earth where there's various stages of awareness. It's like a cluster of everything and anything in the kitchen sink type thing. So we have that immature stage of awareness, where people are projecting blaming and shaming and validating another's worth.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost liberating to them to do that because they have a sense of self-empowerment by doing that. They have a sense of a validation, even though it might be negative to another. So we have a lot of that going on. That's
Too much.
one of the
Mm-hmm.
first stages of awakening. And it's very codependent. You need your posse. You need your group, Republican, Democrat, whatever, independent. You need this group of like-minded people so that you have the same type of reactions and the same type of impacts, but you're actually playing out shadow aspects.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very passive-aggressive place, and that's fine. And you can do that to infinitum. That's here on this planet. And then as you evolve from that, you're going into the holomeres, and that's that next stage. And you're discovering what I put out is what I get back. It's all a reflection. There isn't anybody to blame, even if you want to. There isn't. So you're starting to come into a level of, responsibility for your own expression.
Mm-hmm.
And you get into a smaller crowd, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're going to find a lot of people say, "Oh, yeah, sure." But the truth is that we're in a holographic field. Science can, point to and measure that when we send something out, the reflections can be measurable on the way back. So our thoughts and our perceptions are creating our reality. That is a stage, not the stage. It is a stage. So blaming anybody else is essentially blaming ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and that's why we must completely unplug from the old 3D matrix, and that involves, there's something about being aware of what's going on in the external collective, but yet we must not get caught up in it. And so that means unplugging from the news, or at least being able to watch it from a place of neutrality, because it is so easy for triggers to occur within ourselves when we watch what seems to be inhumane at some points. And so this is where we are at a level of mastery in the sense that we are being called to create new earth solutions, new systems, new strategies from this level of integrity and from a connection, a deep connection with our higher self. And that's what
mastery.
you do. That's mastery.
And that is mastery, and that's a big leap from the Hall of Mirrors.
The Hall of Mirrors.
At the same time, even if you make that leap, there might be something that you come across in your evolution that will throw you back into any one of those previous stages in an instant.
Mm-hmm.
So really, it's being aware of that emotional, mental, psychological moment where you're at any point in time in the game and bring some self-love to it. Because right now what's happening is, I'm going to slap my money down and you fix me. Right. That's what's happening. You fix me. You have all the answers. You're the awakened one. You fix me. So it's an external action for an internal problem. But the actual healing comes from self-validation, coming back in, going deep into your own processes, recognizing where you are in this stage. And I would love for people to write in or call in and tell me, where are you today? Today. Could change tomorrow. Where are you today, honestly? How are you showing up? What is animating you right now? And so as you move through that, right, as you bring more self-love into it, it's not that it will ever go away. It's a cyclical effect here on Earth. You're going to come around to it again, but your relationship to it changes. The triggers change. The landscapes change. Sometimes you'll just come around to a witnessing stage. So you're no longer being pulled in, you're just watching it. Like you said, neutrality on the news.
That's a tall order, actually. So,
it's a tall order. And, and the room gets smaller. But that doesn't mean if you are being called to that room, if you're being called to those levels of experience and self-mastery, show up. There's things for you to express and learn and experience. Show up because you're being called to love. That's what you're being called to. This is what this whole thing's going to eventually be for people. You're going to be called to your own love. And if you want to see people run, and I've seen it before, it's like right before something happens, a big awakening, E.T. moment, Jesus coming down, whatever, I will see people literally want to get the hell out of the room.
Yes.
Because that love is beyond the paradox, beyond the Hall of Mirrors. You're getting into the bigger picture. So it's like, no, I'd rather stay here where I can control and show up where it's extremely comfortable and I'm okay with my thoughts, emotions, and perceptions. I'm controlling here. And then this part's asking you to come into a greater level of understanding and, if not, surrender. And what I mean by surrender is surrendering those perceptions. So where is it? It's like this. It's asking you to face yourself. And that's that tall order. It truly is. So we have to have compassion because not a lot of people want to face that yet.
Yes, that goes so deep. I don't even know if this conversation can accommodate such a deep level as we unravel the layers of that. But let's give some examples of really what it means to be aware of the emotional window that is actually going to lead us into mastery. And so it's the emotions that come up for us. And so it's everything that requires more love. Can you give an example of what it means to really show up from this level of mastery? It really means no more blame. Right? I mean,
no more blame. Yes, exactly. So, for example, I'm taking a group to Starseed Greece. And when I was booking my exit plane out, I was told, do not book near the airport. And even though it made most sense, I have an early morning flight out. It was the closest. It was the easiest. And I said, okay, they wanted me to come into town. And so I said, fine. So I booked the place that they were suggesting. And then I finally asked why. Why do you want me in the middle of town, which is going to cause an early morning wake up and a taxi ride, and they said, because we might keep you here. There's something more that we might want you to experience or have an awareness of. So we might cancel your flight. And if we do, this particular hotel owner will be more than willing to assist you in your accommodations at a price that you can afford. If you pick the hotel by the airport, you will likely, they'll accommodate you, but it's going to be more expensive. Now, I could go into blame, and I could go into, well, why do I have to do this, or I'm just going to book this hotel? No, I'm just open to the evolution of whatever it is that Spirit wants me to have. Okay?
Yes. And when you speak of we and they, these are your guides. Well,
It is and it isn't. It is me at the highest level, but it's me at the highest level with everybody else because I'm interdependent on this planet. So if they need me to rendezvous with a person, place, or thing that's beyond my scope or understanding, they're going to lead me there. And so I can make plans, but they're going to cancel those plans.
Those plans are just going to mysteriously be canceled. And you'll find yourself doing something maybe even outside of a timeline. You're just like suddenly given this opportunity. That's the quantum field. That's the quantum field, the unified field.
Exactly. And at the same time, it's not me saying, well, I can't afford it. Let me just do what the hell I want. It isn't any of those things. It is a surrendering to something bigger that could potentially happen. Now, they said may happen. They didn't say it would happen, but they're warning me enough so that I would have, some extra money on me, or maybe put some insurance on my plane ticket out, in case it's canceled, instead of just buying the cheapest ticket. So there's things that they're giving me an awareness of so that I can walk through mastery. Now, they could put me through the ringer, frankly. And it doesn't mean that I'm less than anything else. It just means that this is what's needed and necessary because I'm on a journey to evolve my ability to love in all aspects, places, people, and things. So whatever needs to take place, I'm not saying no to it. I'm saying sure, thank you. Doesn't mean I will love it.
Or not at first. I mean, we might get our emotions may run away, but it's a call. Everything is a call for love. Everything in every aspect. And I love that because if we can truly walk that and understand it, then wow, think of the shifts. And instead of pointing the finger and blaming, and that's why we said unplug from that old matrix, because that's going to put the Republicans against the Democrats and all that jazz. But the whole thing, even the media, the way that media points at other media organizations, it's not very adult-like, and that's why we really must unplug it. So people listening to this show, like you, are on that mastery path, and will be that next. It is the new earth. It is the new liberation. And it's so beautiful as we all understand more and more how to do it. And it becomes very supportive in that way.
When we drop down into blaming, shaming, and validating, we're polluted by assumptions, expectations, and agendas. That's what we're doing. We're basically, it's a watered down need for love and attention. Right? And what I'm saying is that it doesn't necessarily matter if my life goes perfectly or there's interruptions or disruptions and surprises. What matters is that I'm available and open and receptive to whatever needs to come through. I'm not controlling.
Yeah. We were also chatting about this, and I've learned in my own life when things need to be rescheduled, and it gets taken out of that linear aspect, we could turn around and blame ourselves or blame the other person and go, gosh, I really wanted that. But what I've learned instead is that it always turns out for the better. Maybe the event is rescheduled for another day, and it's the perfect timing and alignment with the energies of that day, but it is a magical moment. And so no matter what we do, no matter if plans change, schedules change, or even if we get hit in the pocketbook where we have to outlay a little bit of extra money or things need to be repaired, we handle it with that upgrade of love. It really is that call for love.
And it's not, yes, exactly. And it's not an exercise in validation of whether or not you are loved.
That's a graduation.
That's the graduation. It's like, oh crap, I just crashed my car. That didn't mean that you were not in a state of perfection. So it's not an external validation. It's just, you crashed your car. It's just one more appointment away, one more bank account drain or whatever, but it's not about validation. I set my business up, my newsletter especially, because I didn't know what to do with the thing. I was just like, oh my gosh. And it's for people to come and go, and they can exit and they can come. It's not set up as you owe me something, or I owe you something, or I'm here to make certain that you were loved at every moment. It's impossible.
Well, that's interesting because as you lead tours, small groups, starseeds, around the world actually, people's stuff comes up. We can just call it stuff. Even if we're in a retreat in a very safe place. I've been in a retreat, like a 5-day retreat, and on day 3, it always seems like something is just, it just cracks the group wide open. It cracks hearts wide open. Something happens. And so, right, for you to do this and lead groups, people could come and shift that blame towards you as the group organizer. So, you watch that too. And how do you deal with that?
It's a projection of where they are at that time. Doesn't mean they'll be there forever. Sometimes
in that moment.
And it's only happened like maybe once or twice. I mean, in a very heavy and heated way, which was super surprising to me. And I asked Spirit. I went in and I collected myself and I asked Spirit, how can I bring more love to the situation? What do I need to know? And Spirit was very clear and said to me, this person is not going to succeed in this situation, and they're not going to succeed after the situation. It is going to be a very long and painful road for this person. They gave me the option, of course, and the wherewithal and understanding of how I needed to respond. And my response was to give this person space, even though it may have seemed like it was at my expense. It was just a loving act of kindness. Because this person was projecting so heavily that they couldn't get out of their own projection stream. And it wasn't for me, as I was told by Spirit, to bring that to their attention. All I could say is, as long as you've lockstepped and agreed to this perception, nothing I can do or say will change that. And that was enough. But you see, it's like the marriage. You're going to dump the guy or the girl, and you're going to pick that same person, same action. Doesn't matter where you move to. It's just going to repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat. Spin and rinse, spin and rinse. And that's because you're back into a stage of unconsciousness.
Yes. Okay. And so being fully conscious and being supremely conscious and immaculately aware, a part of this mastery then involves our spirit, mind, body, and really what you were saying about going into the emotional field and how it's this emotional window that takes us into mastery. Can you explain that? Can you explain how we follow these emotions and heal that?
So we'll take it from there is going to be a place of self-rejection. So it's easier to blame than it is to take self-responsibility. It's just easier. I'm not adding to it. I'm just saying that that's the case. So if you can give yourself that breath, even if you went into blaming, shaming, or invalidating another human being, give yourself that breath and come back and ask your spirit to place infinite love in the spaces within your body, your emotional field, your auric field, whatever you want to call it. Bring the light back down and in. And that's all you're asking for. Ultimately, that's what we're all asking for. So it's like bringing that light, allowing that moment, and then go into forgiveness. Forgiveness for yourself. Okay, don't worry about the other person. Don't worry about Althea. She's going to be fine. Come back to yourself. Whoever it is that you're pushing out onto, come back to yourself and bring love in. Because when you bring love into those emotional wounding spaces, guess what? You're going to level up. And every single time you level up and level up and level up, you're going to have more opportunity for your own self-mastery.
Yes. Okay. That's beautiful. Let's apply it to an external situation. All right. We talked earlier about, okay, we can go into that politics. Poke it with a 10-foot stick, okay? Where it's like, let's not talk politics, because that's a divide and conquer program in the 3D, and I think we're all aware that we know inside ourselves in an integrity way what's right and what's wrong, or what is unconscious and being played out. When we get upset about, let's say, something that weighs heavy on our hearts, and that would be environmental damage, disrespect for the environment through fracking, through pollution, plastic, all of that. This is still a deep inside job. What would you recommend? We do still need to bring this love and light in within ourselves, but we can see where it's like, well, that's happening outside of me, so where do I go deep within myself to give it love?
All of killing off the planet is early stage awareness. It's as simple as that. It's not taking responsibility for our interrelationship with the earth. I learned this when I was with a Kogiarwakawiwa in Colombia. Okay? They live in complete relationship with the earth. Well, we live with the flick of air conditioning and heat. You just flip that switch and here it comes, right? Mm-hmm. We don't have to worry about where it comes. We know it's a bill. And you can play cat and mouse with your bill. Okay? We're still immature. It's just the way it is. Now, because we haven't realized that when we flip a switch or when we throw something away or when we do something, we don't realize where it is, what's happening on the other part of the world. But today we are, right? I think all of the Starseeds Awakened folks everywhere are starting to see interrelationship. And they're saying, okay, wait a minute, we don't have time. And they're going into fear and they're going into all these things, okay? But they're forgetting that fundamental thing. You are the world, and so as you clear it within yourself, truthfully, as you really clear the separation and divide, you unplug and you dismantle that energy stream, that veil from everybody else, so you are doing the work and you are awakening people. And at the same time, this isn't the first time in the cycles of history of planet Earth that we have de-evolved and evolved. We've had very high systems here, very high planetary, interplanetary systems here that failed, okay? And so rather than go big picture, it's all failing, why bother, get the hell out. Mm-hmm. Come back in, and you're here for a reason, you're put here for a reason, so Let's get busy. Let's do the internal work. Come back to love, to yourself. Yeah. And then whatever Spirit is asking you to do, not big picture stuff. They're not really asking a lot of people to do big picture stuff. Okay? Sometimes it's just take care of your family.
Mhm.
Get up, take a shower, eat. Sometimes it's just these small steps, but they all lead and they're all purposeful. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So it's really coming back down to back off this big planetary stuff and come into the very small step that is needed and necessary for your day to day.
Mhm. Thank you for that. I really do love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I want to share some comments coming in, because now I'd like to really make this about our community and have them ask you some questions, because you really do pinpoint things. And I want to share a message coming in from Melissa, who says that, wow, thank you. Living in a state of emergency blizzard and all my appointments got canceled this week. It's like, yay, all right. She was concerned about health ones as an issue is going on, and then went into, maybe I don't need this, looking for something better. So this is a nice message, Melissa says, to confirm to her that all is well and just stay in the flow. Althea, do you have any extra comment on that?
I think she's recognizing that her expectations was putting her into extremism. And she had that aha moment. Good on her. Really good on her that she's recognizing that in this moment she's okay.
Yes, there's no problem in the present.
I saw this when I was, once again, with the Arwaka Wiwak and Kogi. At the time that I was there, and this is in 2017 of December, and I'm about to write an article on it because a client asked me to, but, they were doing their own version of Standing Rock? They were doing their own version of it while I was there. And you would think that they would be very concerned because they knew that their people were vulnerable. They were standing in blockade and, block the roads from anybody trying to cross some of the highways and stuff like that, and really trying to draw attention to their needs. But the whole time that they had us within their land, they were so physically present and joyful. And joyful.
That's the key.
Okay? And now, at the same time, they had bussed their people in, and their people were getting rocks thrown at them, and getting hurt and sent to the hospital. And you would never have known it the entire time we were on their land. They were so present and so open-heartedly there for you, not to fix me or anybody else, but to share what it was that they were there to share with. And that taught me a lot.
And
at some levels, we need to get there ourselves. There is a great crisis going on this planet, obviously. But come back to the immediate now. Allow your home to be a sanctuary for the family that you're in and for the people that are in your care. And if it's just you, allow you to be the sanctuary to the best of your ability. And when you fall, pick yourself up. But this is what we all need to be, these bridges.
Yes. Yes. And so I want to take that further and say, there's so many who are in corporate jobs. Althea, you and I think we got out of that. And there is the new jobs ahead. Let's call it the new play ahead. It is fueled by one's passion. And so for people who have lost that passion because they're still in a corporate job, well, this is a time to get connected back in to the passion and begin to just start doing that which brings you passion. And that creates an energy field that then opens doors to inspiration. And then that leads into ways that you can be supported in that passion. But the key is that we are no longer focusing it on doing things for the money. I'm going to create this product because I can make money off it. It is a shift. It is a different way of doing things. And so you yourself are in tune with your guidance. Can you talk about these downloads that we get? More and more people are getting downloads, especially when we are able to get in a very relaxed place, the sanctuary of our home, the sanctuary of nature. We get these downloads. And, we probably each have, all of us in different ways have maybe journals after journal after journal of things and ideas that we've gotten, but yet we must become an actor on these downloads. Can you talk a little bit about acting on downloads that we get?
So the vibration needs experience in order for it to seat within your body. So if you're guided to go to XYZ, go to XYZ. There's something there for you. There's something there that you need to experience in order to embody the light more fully. So you might get a hint, a clue, an inspirational moment, but unless it's experienced more fully through action, you will not embody it. It requires action. So what happens is it's not like the universe says, oh, dial up Althea. Well, they do because they know I'm going to act on it, right? But the thing is they're giving that exact same information to every single player on the planet. So let's just say there's 10 players on the planet. 10 are going to get it, right? Maybe 6 will start to move with it. 2 will develop it, and only 1 will follow through.
Mm-hmm.
Now let me give you the opposite of that. So when an ET group comes to me, because I work with a wide variety of people, so I might work with Nocturian or Pleiadian embodied, okay? And so they'll come to me because they're interested in evolving their person. So they'll say to me, hey, can you do this? Now, I can say yes or no. But let's say it's for a bigger play on the planet and they want to give me something, okay? They're not just coming to me because Althea is special. They're going to come to every single person.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the person who does the job. There's no feeling. See, it's no blaming, shaming, invalidating anybody else. It's like, are you going to do the work? So they're going to knock on the person who can get the work done. That's it.
And you've actually answered that call. What was a way that you became aware? How did you recognize your own awareness of this message coming to you, which comes to all of us?
How do I recognize it? Well, it's seamless. They'll just say to me, can you organize a group and take these people here? Can you help them with this? This is what's needed to be done. There are some activations that we have for these people, so they'll just ask me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't necessarily need them to show up, but they do. In Ireland, we had 3 people who had UFO experiences, and they went into the love realm, but that's what their group needed for them. You see,
mm-hmm.
That isn't necessarily something I need for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need the external validation, but other people do. So in that case, they asked me to create that group for that. And at the same time, 2 people didn't, and they were upset by it. And that was for me to learn from, what it's like to wake up feeling separated and have an internal day of hell and not feel worthy enough. And I was learning from the wounded female, and that was extremely good for me to know.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I walk around the planet, it's like I'm pretty happy, and so I'm like, I'm here. And other people are like, this is a drag. And so for me to understand that, to really understand that pain that they're in, was just as important as someone having a love experience.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Well,
so the play on the planet is what I'm saying, exclusionary. It's just who's going to do the work. Now, if I step down on the work, it's not like I'm going to get sent a dozen roses from the ETs for, thank you for doing your job. They're just moving on to the next person. You can think it's cold, but it isn't. It is about moving people into higher states of awareness. Back to love.
Yes.
So I'm not special. I just so happen to I pick up the phone and listen.
You pick up the phone and you listen, and this is where you've even noticed as well that it's like, wow, okay, that was really cool. In hindsight, where you start to see, I did pick up on that, and it turned out to be validated. All right, so you're very clairvoyant. Let's have you work with some of the questions from our audience now. And so for our listeners on YouTube, please go to acoustichealth.com and click on Quantum Conversations Live on Air, and you'll get to today's show page. You can join by web call or phone to allow your voice to be heard by Althea. And so if you're on by phone or web call, you can raise your hand. There's a little button there to raise your hand. And if you're on the phone, *2 will raise your hand. And our group, what I know is when we ask questions, it may be something going on in someone's life, but it actually, the answer applies to other aspects in our life, and we can see how that example, on one hand, fits other examples going on in our life. Again, this is the quantum field that we're working with. We're going to go to Dawn in North Carolina. Hi, Dawn. Welcome. Do you have a question for our clairvoyant?
Hi, Lauren.
Hi. How are you?
Good. And you, I'm very appreciative of the chance to talk to you guys tonight. I think I may have mentioned this, but I'm struggling with this doctor that had done something pretty horrible to me, and we're still sort of going through this really long sort of legal situation, and he's, just been pretty dishonest, and he's got an attorney that's been dishonest, and he's been really very hard to deal with. He's a narcissist, and I've never had really a true narcissist where I've had to be in this situation. And I was wondering if you can read anything in it about my participation and what actions I should be taking to resolve this and move on. And I don't really know that I think he's healthy enough to remain a doctor. So, I'm wondering, he seems to be pretty disturbed and pretty, he's one of these charismatic people that has a big following, but when it comes to taking responsibility, he doesn't seem to want to do that. So I was wondering if you could help me a little bit.
Sure, Don. Do I have permission to work with your higher self?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry, my cat is biting the phone. Sorry.
Cats love his energy. Yes.
I'm in cat love right now. All right, so one moment. Dawn, can you put yourself in this beautiful bubble of light? It's your auric field, and as you put yourself in that auric field and you draw attention to your own self, I'm basically seeing you instead of everybody on the call. Here you go. So actually what I'm hearing is this is more of a call about you developing a relationship with your higher self. So this almost what does my higher self want from me in this situation? So there's a sense of do I take the high road? You're asking yourself, do I take the high road? Do I call this person out, right? And do I say, oh, this person is a fraud? Well, in all actuality, it really isn't your job. Right? I mean, this person is doing their thing, and even if they're incorrect, you can, report them. But more importantly is, what's your exit? What is it going to be? What's it going to take so that you can move from this experience and get back to a point of where you're creating the experiences you do want?
Well, I would like to settle with him, and then if he wants to continue on doing what he's doing, but I do think I need to be compensated from him in some way
Yeah, and what I'm hearing is that's probably not going to happen. It's like almost like he has the upper hand on you, and that's causing a little bit of a mental lockdown for you, that this person might seem, that really might get away with something more than what you truthfully feel isn't. So it's like, okay, well, how long do I want to stay in this relationship where this person has an upper hand on me even though it's unfair?
But I can report him.
Yes, you can. You can do all this. All these things are your option. But what I'm being shown and what I'm feeling is mental constriction. So this part of you that's saying, wow, this person's really got me, you know what I mean? Definitely unfair, definitely not an integrous person. And I would like to get this out of it. Am I going to get this out of it? And what I'm seeing is it's almost like this person does truly have the upper hand. So now that that's been said, you can begin to strategize your own exit that is internally validating to you. Because I'm not feeling... They're not showing me, your I am presence isn't showing me that this person is going to give you any sort of validation. In fact, it's the opposite.
Okay.
So it's not a win-win. It's not going to be egalitarian for you. It is what it is.
Okay. So...
Now your decision is to decide how you're going to feel about it as you're exiting out.
And what is the lesson in it for me or for the call, or if there's no fairness here on this plane, or it doesn't appear to be fair, what am I to learn from this? What is my higher self? Where am I supposed to move to?
That your response is everything. Your response is everything. So your response can be one that really, truly is so exquisitely shared, even though that person might not agree with you. Okay? It's as simple as that. It's like, I disagree with you. I do not accept your whatever, your actions, however, I don't have to be here any longer, and I can go and do this instead with the rest of my life. Now, is that person going to have their epiphany because you exited out of their life and they, got one more person that they didn't have to whatever? Probably not. But that isn't your job. You see? It's your job to move yourself in a direction that is going to be more beneficial to yourself in this situation.
And does that look like reporting him and just moving away and letting the chips fall may and just go from there, and I'm taking care of myself and I'm not looking for a recompense from him?
On some level, yes. And there's a part of you where they're showing me it hurts to hear that. And I just want to be absolutely honest with you. I have love and compassion. It hurts to hear that. Like, I feel intense pressure in my ears because it truly hurts to hear that. And if I can be absolutely honest to your maleness, who is in integrity and is in fairness in the situation, it just is what it is.
So, yeah, that's what it's so like. It doesn't seem like the higher self is like finding a resolution for this, and that it doesn't, and I'm wondering, can I call on the angels or on the beings to help me resolve it, or do they don't care?
Oh, no, it has nothing to do with it. That's your relationship. That's a misunderstanding with your relationship. Okay? So like when I gave my previous example, I can be late to that plane, or I can show up early to make sure that I try to get on that plane in Greece, and they're saying, we're probably going to pull that plane. Well, I could go, well, why are you doing that to me? I'm not doing that. What I'm saying is that in this situation, your guidance has your back. They're giving you back your power to move yourself in a direction and in a space that's more beneficial for your energy than for your co-creation. But this is one in which it does not feel, it feels like a mental lockdown about you trying to get something that isn't going to come your way. You're not going to teach this person, and you're not necessarily going to make an energetic dent in their life either.
Okay.
They got away with it. That's all.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Gosh, Dawn, I know that I know that might be a challenge, right? But it in a way it does liberate you. I know that's so hard. My cousin has a similar issue, not with the abuse that you've experienced, but forgiving something so painful, really, and accepting that. So hopefully that peace will come with this.
You can ask your guides, your angels, your beings who truly do have your back for your own self-love to begin to create an exit door for you that feels liberating for you. Okay? So if you write the letter and you report to whoever you're doing, and this was my case, and I'm validating myself, and I want people to know it's on record, they can read it if they want, I'm going to do that, right? So you can ask for that this letter or this whatever, governing board you're going to give it to, receive this. Okay? Because there are people that before they get into a relationship will look up, somebody's record. So you can be a very powerful person in somebody else's life. You won't necessarily be a powerful person to his life.
Right.
So knowing the distinction will help you liberate yourself from feeling like you really need to get this guy. Okay? Well, that it allows the angelic team to take him and awaken him, but you get back to you and how you're going to create your exit strategy, your validation, your internal expression that is absolutely exquisite to your spirit.
Okay.
And if I can come back to that point where it's hard for what I'm saying for you to hear it, it's okay. You can even say to the universe, I didn't want to hear that. I'm going to try somebody else, right? But ultimately, your team will still lead you to an exit door. And you can take it as long as you want.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay? All righty. I wish you many blessings.
Thank you. This is a wonderful call. I love the energy tonight. This is beautiful. As Laura's are always exquisite and wonderful. It's such a beautiful source.
Awesome, Dawn. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thanks. Okay. Thank you, Althea. We are taking caller questions. Did you have something to say, Althea?
I'm good.
No? You're good.
I'm good.
Good. Okay, so we're moving right along here, girlfriend. We are going to San Francisco, cell phone number ending in 8119. Hi, you are on the line. What's your name, please?
Oh, hi. Thank you so much. This is Vivica. And
Vivica, hi.
Hi, Althea. Hi, Lauren. Thank you. Yeah, my question, my question, and I even got another little realization because of some frustration that's coming up during this call, is that it's just going to take what's going to take, and I'm learning lessons all the way because I'm focused on my movement. But I'm wondering, am I in the flow? I've been in a position for a couple of years now where I've made changes for my professional life in trust and faith, from what we've been discussing, to doing what I truly love to do. And I did have a glimpse of that. And I'm in the middle of starting a job search, not very robust, but hopefully part-time. But at this point, I'm wondering, am I fighting against myself, or am I following how to do it, how best to do it for what I'm meant to do? Does that make sense?
You have permission to work with your higher self.
Oh, yes, please.
So just bubble up, just put attention to your auric field and really allow your auric field to be fully bright and light, just bright and light. This is all about you anyways. So you have some self-doubt running.
Yes.
It's almost like a bill, how to pay the bills, energy running in the background, okay?
Yes.
So when we have bills and self-doubt going, our trust kind of flies out of the window. It's like we want it to be there, but the truth is that there's a nervousness, an underlying pressure to get the show on the road, okay?
Yeah.
That's just where you're at. And so there's this part of you, this self-doubting, almost like they're saying like a doubting Thomas coming in, that wants to override a little bit of your joy and make this seem more impossible than it actually is, okay? And so what I'd like you to do is really just allow for this divine light to start coming down and into your field and your bubble and filling it in and saying to your doubting Thomas, I need you to calm down. I need you to receive this light and allow my spirit in more and more and more as I begin to navigate my realm, my quantum field, so that I have more space in my field to recognize the opportunities that are there for me. You see? So we're taking your attention off doubting Thomas and giving it love, but turning your attention now in front of your body, in your front body, to where's my opportunities? I want these opportunities to begin to sparkle and to show up in my field, my visions, my understandings, my epiphanies. And I would like it if they start to accelerate into my field so that I can begin to make some decisions, because this waiting game feels painful. Okay? And they're just showing you a little bit more of your magic, a little bit more of what you have, what your capabilities are as you navigate between these realms. So it's acknowledging these aspects, but at the same time moving forward and allowing these aspects, these newer aspects, these shiny little moments to come to you. And then they're telling me very simply for you to then let go. Okay? So that these moments can pop into your field of awareness. So they're showing me like a newspaper, and all of a sudden you look down and what wasn't there before, weeks ago, now is there, and it's the number to call. So they're giving you examples, not necessarily the example, but they're showing you that that's how your field of awareness will be able to take all the streaming data around you and then pick the one that's right for you, because it's going to pop. It's going to have a brightness to it. Make sense?
Yes. Now, I feel like I've been doing that for quite a while now, and new ways of doing it. So I'm on the right path. Is that correct? And just continue doing it and hearing what you say, too.
And letting go. So it's like, okay, it is there for me. I don't have to come back into suffering and doubt. I can go forward. So yes, you are on your right path. You're always on your right path. But now it's with a little bit more certainty as you allow it.
Okay, continuing the allowance and more certainty, and I'm working on it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's control
and
stuff.
it's okay. So it's like every time that self-doubt comes in, go, aha, I know where I am today, but I can move out of it.
Yes, yes. Okay, well, thank you, Robin. That's helpful and validation to keep on keeping on, and I so appreciate it. Thank you for all of your help.
You're welcome. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vivica.
Thank
Beautiful.
you, Lauren.
Thank you. This is really a time for people to be empowered in this way and to up level on many, many things. And again, to say it simply, return to love and apply love in all of these places. It's not always, it's simple, but not always so easy. And this is the work that we do. And that is what mastery is all about. All right, let's go on. We have another caller. This time we're going to New York City, and Irene is on the line. Hello, Irene.
Hi, thank you so much. I am listening with fascination that we basically all have the same discrepancies and trying to figure out what the right thing is to do. But I wonder if you could get a sense of what's happening with me. I have some financial restraints. I would like to stay where I am. That's questionable. And if you can look at it, what is my role in this major shift that's happening? And it will get probably more and more violent and unstable, and people have to keep their sanity. And love is the only thing, no question about it.
Show me the paycheck. Yeah, Irene, do I have permission to work with your higher self?
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, I can see you immediately. I mean, you showed up instantaneously. It's quite lovely. So I do see that you understand that love is the answer. But in terms of your immediate awareness of can you stay where you're at and do you have the financial wherewithal, let's see what they have to say. Your I am presence. So who do you have in your life right now? Is it just you?
Yeah, I've been alone all my life. You know, I mean, I've been in relationships, but I never got married.
Okay. Because
I'm very independent, you know.
Yeah, no, I see that. But there's also someone on your right-hand side energetically, and he's showing up. In this life or in past? Well, this is in spirit form. I'm seeing him, but he's right there on your right-hand side. Are you aware of that?
No. I just met somebody recently whom I really connected to. Is that the person you're talking about, or is somebody else?
I don't know. There's this person on your right-hand side I can ask, but it felt like what they said was like your honey. And so I knew it wasn't I knew that you weren't partnered, but they're saying you're honey, and there's this person there, and so I feel like they keep showing me you shifting. So I feel like whatever this person you've met or something shifting in in your reality. So you're in a shift right now, no doubt about it. That's what they're showing me. But I don't know if this man's going to play a bigger role or if this man is playing a supporting role, but I wouldn't be surprised if for some reason how you move forward would not include the assistance of this person.
That is absolutely amazing because it's been only going on for the last couple of weeks, but there's a very strong connection.
Wow.
Well, I can tell you this. When I look into this person's field, it is balanced. They're showing me that this person is within the Christ consciousness. So they're working from a very balanced state. So if this person comes into your life and offers you assistance and it feels right for you in that moment, well, I would say yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And how do you see my role in this major shift that we're experiencing? We're going
I'm hearing
into
it's for your highest good. I get chills for whatever's happening. It's for your highest good. Roll with it.
Yeah. I roll with it, and I keep reminding myself that love is the only thing that makes us going.
Well, you have enough of that love that you can show up in my presence very easily. I mean, you're quite strong. So if you called out to the universe for something to show up and it showed up, and it feels right and delicious for you in that moment, move forward.
Thank you so much. That is really giving me some confidence that I am losing occasionally, as you mentioned, to somebody else, that you go through the phase when you're okay and then you start wondering and worrying and whatever else. But I keep reminding myself that simply faith and trust, and I have a very open heart, and I really love people, even when they don't realize it. It's almost like I am walking in the world and I'm not visible sometimes, but it doesn't bother me.
You have very big love. You have very big love. Okay? You're not a selfish person whatsoever.
No.
You have very big love. And so what you called to you is someone who recognizes that and is willing to assist you. Okay?
Thank you so much, both ladies. You really made my evening. I do appreciate it.
Blessings to you.
Oh, thank you, Irene.
Thank you.
Wow, that's fun, isn't it? Okay. And I love how Althea is just so spot on. You just are so, again, your skin suit, Althea, allows you to be super tuned in, and you just pay attention. Let's talk very quickly here. I want to take maybe we have time for one or two more callers, but we want to share with everyone that Althea has a special offer, and this is incredible. It is a 30-minute session with her to get to your issue, to get her insight and her take through your higher self connections. Althea, share with us how powerful these personal sessions are.
I love what I do. I'm passionate about what I do. I can definitely become so passionate I do too much of it. But the truth is I love being in a state in the expanded field with another, exploring the energetics of what a person has going on, and with infinite patience to allow this person to go into transformation. And so the types of transformations I've seen in my sessions is where, systems open up and they come into higher states of awareness or expanded states of awareness and, or great aha moments, or even, I've had people go into static states. It doesn't matter if it's a massive experience or just their next aha right moment or self-validation. Either way, I'm completely open. I'll meet you where you are at, and we'll move through it. It isn't always roses. If there's something very deep and troubling, it takes time to unpack and unravel. But in this 30-minute session that I'm giving you and sharing with you this opportunity at a discounted rate is really my love letter to you. So if you'd like to have a conversation with me, please do.
Yes, please do. That special offer with Althea is available on this webpage. You can see that special offer link, or you could certainly visit acoustichealth.com/special offers Althea. Okay. This is a really great conversation, and it's not always easy to understand how we create these things that we do, whether it's financial difficulties or health issues, but working with Althea does help us get to the bottom of it and understand how we can cope with the responsibility of this from a loving way. I know that's kind of hard to say, how did I create a life of being abused? Well, that's where we do this inner work and we own it. And there is an empowerment when we do that. Althea, can you add to this?
I've had a number of clients that have moved through some extremely painful realities. And I've had them move through in 60 minutes or less it is amazing to me today how quickly people can move through lifetimes of disease and misunderstanding, because the love vibration is quite strong today. Okay? And so this is an opportunity for people to begin to remember that it's their openness. It's their openness to love that's going to move them through it faster.
That bears repeating. It's the openness to love. And so in the face of everything, that is the call for love, and how we deal with that, whether that's financial situations, relationships that maybe sometimes we have to walk away from some relationships, right? You know, we are not, I think we were sharing this earlier today, Althea, we are not here, none of us are here on this mission to save anyone from their own awakening experience. And sometimes that could be hard. It could be hard.
It's, you know, if someone is still playing emotional manipulation games and trying to tag you into it or bring you into it, they might be surprised that everybody walks away from them, you know, and they feel left out or alone. But actually they're being given the space to heal. And so it could be the exact opposite of what they want. But ultimately, that is what's being given with love and respect. So we're here no longer to get wounded by the wounded. We're here to move into our next level of awareness, and for many, that is joy. And it's joy within the paradox.
Joy within the chaos, baby. Yes.
That's right.
All right. And so hopefully that answers Missy's question coming in over our chat line. When she asks, you know, like every change in plans, is that higher driven? She says, I want to believe this. And I used to believe in dark interference to ideas downloaded, and I couldn't take action. But what you just said there is that each of these instances is calling us to bring joy and love in every moment.
You want to see darkness run out of the room? Go into the vibration of love. You'll clear a room pretty quickly, you know? Yeah, no, it is true that, you know, there's darkness here on the planet, and you can get really caught up in it, and you can really feel thwarted by it, and there's a lot of things it can do to you, okay? But at the same time, you can come back into your own state of awareness and move into a direction and a path that is more beneficial to you. You have that choice.
That's the choice. And again, that's why it comes to this supreme awareness, immaculate awareness of this energy body and the way that we feel in each moment. Okay, we're going to take another caller, but I wanted to also, Linda has a question on our chat line, which we hear from so many would like to be told, who is the star family? And this is a situation where Linda says, I have asked so many and no one answers me. But yet this is an inside job, Althea. What is a practice? What is a protocol that each of us can do to tune in to finding the answers, receiving the answers of who our star family is?
Open up your channel, your inner column, to your divine light. Bring it in. Your star family is you. It's just you operating on another dimension, that you haven't quite bridged that gap, made that T1 line open and flowing. Bring your light down and into you. So it's like, you know, it's like allowing more of your light to come down and into your column opens up the line to your angelic self, your ET self, your God self, you know, it keeps going on and on and on and on because you're infinite. And at that point in time, you start to have an interrelationship with these aspects of you, and you don't need external validation because it's an internal validation.
And just be open, as you said, because there'll be things that pop up on a screen. This can even relate to an interest. Like if you keep hearing the word Arcturian, pay attention to that, right?
So yes, it can do that in a holographic field. It can bring you, if you've been asking, and it can come around and come around and come around externally. Yes, it can do that, okay? But eventually, in the end, that is a belief system. So you're believing something externally around you. And what I'm pointing is the long road, which is not always the easy road, but it is the one that leads to your own self-liberation. And the liberation is an internal validation. Something internally within you will awaken, and you will remember these other aspects of you if it's indeed important to this evolution of your life on this planet in this now system. Okay? If it isn't needed, it isn't needed. And for some people it isn't. So it's like if it's truly something that you're wanting for yourself, go back in within your field, open up your channel, make specific that it's your channel, your divinity coming down and through your central column, awakening you to your own self.
Yes. See, isn't that beautiful? It is our light within. It is the Christed light. This is the light of God. It is source within us.
I think you might have muted there, Loren.
Oh, my goodness. Well, isn't that so beautiful there? I was just saying, as my little doodad here did mute me, that it's just so beautiful bringing in this Christ light. This is the light of source. It is the light of God. Our soul is God, and it's so beautiful. So this is our journey, and this is what we mean by embodiment. And so no matter what, this connection that you just gave us here, this beautiful remembrance of a tool to amplify this central column of light. That's our role, that's our job, that's the responsibility in the face of everything. Thank you for that.
And at the same time, that light triggers the technology within your auric field that you may not even be aware of, that brings about your own evolution, and that brings about your own self-liberation, and brings about your own conscious awareness of the greater things that are important and necessary for you. And it's all self-sourcing. It isn't external. Although you may have an external conversation, it may be validating, but we're moving past this. We really, truly are moving into a self-validating system. It's where we need to go.
Yes, it's where we need to go. Beautiful. Right, we have time for one more caller here. This time, we're going to Hollywood, or Inglewood. Holly. Holly on web call in Inglewood. Hi, Holly. Hi, Holly.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Hi, Holly.
thank you. You've got Althea.
Oh, awesome. I'm so overjoyed, and I knew you guys were going to choose me. So I'm just filling up with joy. And so I am a Pleiadian starseed, and my beautiful boyfriend is a Orion, and I know my job is not to help him awaken. We are mirrors, and we are merging in just beautiful ways. My question is our relationship the extended soul path that I'm feeling it is, or is this a learning process of evolution? I've had just so many waves of clarity and great, just to be frank and not to shift blame or anything, a lot of mirroring of insecurity and emotional manipulation and all these things, but it's been such a beautiful growth period, and I want to see what you think in terms of, is this really the evolutionary keeping up with me and our expansive togetherness, or is there going to be a time when I kind of outgrow him and he outgrows me, at the same time? How are you seeing this?
What I think, Holly, what I think, and just turn down your volume a little bit, what I think doesn't matter, You are so exquisitely in the field, and you are not opposed to how it's showing up. And I don't like to use the word twin flame, but as you're with someone very powerful who can mirror your own, let's just put it, your own internal crap and his own internal crap, you're starting to find the joy on some level of it where it's like, wow, I can really enjoy this ride, where it is, a self-validating, where I can see my own stuff or his own stuff and at the same time feel joy. Okay? That's a level of mastery.
Yeah.
And that's why you are, wow, do I get to keep, now listen to me, do I get to keep this? Right? Mm-hmm. And what I want you to do is to look at that. Do I get to keep this? And I want to take your fingers and I want to open them up from being pinched to open. There is nothing for me to keep.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely spot on with the internal messages I've been receiving, just to be anchored in the now and open to the moment, and there is nothing wrong or right, and it all just is.
You are in such a heavenly realm, at the same time capable of going up and down that ladder, highs to lows, right, goods and bads, whatever, and you're going to be fine. And even if you're on your back, I wouldn't be surprised if you're not laughing about it. So enjoy the ride. You are at that level of exquisiteness, I would say nearly matched to mine, where it is just a ride, and you recognize it for what it is.
Oh, I adore you. Thank you so much. You've just echoed my internal dialogue on never being able to have a bad day, because the bad days are the bounce points into where you wouldn't know you wanted to be, and looking at every silver lining and not making those mistakes wrong, and just all this really amazing stuff that's been coming through for me. And thank you for validating that, even though I didn't need validation. But
we're in an echo chamber, which is great, and I love it. I love this conversation. I want to say one more thing. Not only, you don't need it, but I can go there because your field's there, right? It's even more than where you're going. There's more. And it's so exciting to see that, because you're in that place. And I want to say to the other people on the call, it's not like Holly gets the enchilada, right? It isn't that. It's just in her state of awareness, there's more allowing, which is what took her there.
Beautiful. Thank you, Holly.
Blessings.
Oh, gosh. See, this is so empowering, and this is what I meant earlier by saying that Althea meets us right here, shoulder to shoulder, and that is such a helpful tool to assist all of us. So thank you, Althea, for that, and thank you for opening up your calendar for personal sessions. These are really treats for everyone, because you are yourself evolving in the work that you do, and these are good sessions that will become rarer with Althea. So grab a session now if it resonates with your heart. Althea, anything to add on that?
I want to thank everybody who showed up on this call, and I know that we're in a state of wanting and seeking those higher state of experiences and wanting the downloads and the codes and the transmissions, and for someone to give it to us, right? And I know it's not always easy when we feel like we're not getting it, or you're not getting it from me, or something like that. But the truth is you did give it, and it was given, and it's always being given. It's our view of reality that's getting in the way. And so if you want an expanded reality and you're wanting more, start opening your heart and bringing in your light and allowing for this expanded reality to show up internally for you and see what magic comes your way. It always does.
It always does. What a practical conversation on navigating the quantum field. The love of our universe is the quantum field. And so happy quantumizing, everyone. Althea, thank you for this beautiful quantum conversation.
Thank you, Loren. Thank you, everybody.
Again, if you'd like Althea's special offer with a personal session with her, one-on-one, it is available for you on the special offer button. All right. Well, happy bringing joy and love into your light, bringing in the Christ light. It is here for all of us in each moment. And so with that, we dance our way to the cosmic heart. And this is taking us on a worldly tour. Enjoy. Quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. Access all quantum conversations, special offers from our guests, and online healing retreats by visiting acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe, music literally created by the universe as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.